Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. This segment is going to probably be my favorite one we might have ever done on the show because it had me literally dying laughing because of how incompetent the Falcons franchise was, hopefully before the new regime. Jury's still out on the new regime. Before, we just realized how incompetent by the day. Thomas Dimitroff keeps talking and he sounds stupider every time. But this comes from Bussin and the Boys podcast with Taylor Lewan and Will Compton, a great podcast for Barstool Sports. They just started chatting it up about Vic Beasley, who they both had an opportunity to spend a little time with, just a little time with, when they were in Tennessee. Taylor Lewan started off the conversation was, I played him as a rookie when he was in Atlanta. He was quit after 3 quarters. I knew immediately this guy just ain't it. He ain't got it. Will Compton continued just bashing this guy. I mean, they were just talking about him. He said Vic Beasley in 2020 when he was on the Titans raised his hand when all the social justice and the COVID stuff was going on and tried to get the whole season canceled. He's like, we should just boycott the whole season and just get paid. And keep in mind, he had never played a game. This was after
hadn't practiced.
He had never practiced there. And they were like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, and then Taylor Lewan told another story where Vic Beasley got stuck on an elevator and the elevator got fixed just before game time. So he had to go to the game and he was pissed about it because he said, quote, I'm just trying to chill and collect, like chill and collect. This guy, the fact that they spent less than half a season with him and knew he wasn't serious about football. The Falcons, Thomas Dimitroff admitted they knew before they drafted him 8th overall that he didn't love football like that, but they thought they could fix him. They couldn't fix him. They spent 4 seasons with him, and then they still decided to pick up his 5th-year option. I mean, this is gross negligence. There's no way that in 4, 5, 6, maybe you include training camp, in 8 weeks spent with the guy, Taylor Lewan and Will Compton, 2 guys that played with him, were able to pick up so quickly that he didn't really care about football. The Falcons couldn't pick it up in 3 years, or they either picked it up and did not care, said, oh, we just have no pass rush. We need this.
Yeah, either way, it's terrible. Whichever one you just said, whether they still couldn't figure it out or they did and just decided to pick it up anyways. You know, you were talking about all that, and I wasn't going to say this, but it just got me thinking. I'm going to revert back to this draft. And it's a big reason why the Falcons, this regime, is different than last regime. This regime didn't draft Jalen Carter. Last regime would have drafted Jalen Carter. And it's not because the talent is that Jalen Carter was arguably the most talented prospect in this last draft cycle. But all the red flags that everybody kept talking about, his own coaches, all these inside sources talking about, he doesn't really love football. You know, he's great when he's on the field, but like, you know, yada, yada, yada. And I know a lot of our listeners are Georgia fans and Falcons fans, so you're probably not going to like me saying this, but like Jalen Carter might follow a similar path as Vic Beasley. And I'm not saying he doesn't love football as much as Vic Beasley, because I don't think we'll ever see somebody like Vic Beasley again. But
I care.
Yeah, he literally doesn't care. I think Jalen Carter does care, but he doesn't care enough for the Falcons, who are in a position that they can't risk anything to draft somebody like that with that kind of personality. Instead, they go with Bijan Robinson, the guy who lives, breathes football. He's a better person than he is a player, and he was also arguably the best prospect in the draft. So, you know, as much as we could sit back and laugh because that regime is gone, dead and gone. Hang on, let me also just say this. Thomas Dimitroff is just guaranteeing he's never, ever going to get another job in the NFL. I mean, it's crazy. He's like, I kind of respect it a little bit. I don't know if I respect it or I'm just confused of why he's all just opening up and bashing himself like this. I mean, it takes a lot of, you know, self-reflection and confidence and just, you know, acceptance that you royally screwed up. This regime is hopefully different because they are making those decisions where intangibles are almost more important than tangibles. And in the NFL, the margin of difference in talent is so slim that the difference between the greats and the goods is the intangibles and the want.
Yeah. You cannot survive in this league for long without loving football. I don't care how talented you are. Vic Beasley might have been the most talented player we've ever seen. The guy still had an all-pro season, and he clearly just did not give a crap, which is almost amazing. He had like 40 career sacks and did not give a crap, but you can't survive for long. Coming up after the break, SEC schedule leaks. We got some big news in the Southeastern Conference.